I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude for the invitation to participate in the 6th Tbilisi International Musicological Conference. My name is Anna Danida, and I'm a eurythmics teacher, choreographer and dance theorist. Currently, under the supervision of Professor Małgorzata Janicka-Słysz, I'm working on movement interpretations of musical works in the context of Émile Jaques-Dalcroze's eurythmics. The aim of my presentation is to explore the essence and significance of solo movement interpretation of a musical piece. I will begin by briefly outlining the background of Émile Jaques-Dalcroze's eurythmics. After that, I will discuss Janusz Orlik's solo movement interpretation of the Third Symphony, including some analysis of video performance. And then, as a contrast, I will present some samples of my own video PhD performance work, which includes a computer-animated imagining of Witold Lutosławski's and Andrzej Panównik's music. Émile Jaques-Dalcroze believed that, quote, a new kind of art will arise, created by those for whom music will be a powerful and magnificent stimulus, a sculpture of human gesture, end quote. At the beginning of the 20th century, ballet, which was the only form of dance art, was experiencing a serious crisis. During this time, the need for a new approach to dance arose, one that considered the expectations and demands of a society that had entered the era of scientific and technological civilization. Émile Jaques-Dalcroze, quote, never wanted movement to become an autonomous form of art, end quote. At the same time, in Hellerau, he was creating stage works in which he sought a complete plastic transposition of music, which, according to Jan Kosiński, shifted the focus towards choreography, revolutionized by the free dance of Isadora Duncan. Artistic projects can be divided into two categories. The first consists of etudes, referred to as espace rhythmique, which I understand as rhythmic space. These were performed in a hall, equipped only with lights, without a curtain or frame. Their theme was limited to the movement of the body evoked by music in the directions of lights. The second group consists of precisely defined stage creations. The first realization was the pantomime Echo and Narcissus in 1912, followed by the opera Orpheus and Eurydice by Gluck in 1913, and in 1914, the June Festival, which was the ground outdoor spectacle by ballet. Paul Claudel significantly stated, there is no need to explain what aesthetic benefits such a method provides, especially from the perspective of theater. The choir, instead of being a beautiful group of passive extras, becomes a large ensemble of sentient beings, deeply engaged and participating in living drama and music. In this respect, the performance of Gluck's Orpheus in Hellerau was unmatched. For the first time since the days of Hellas, we witnessed true beauty in the theatre. End quote. I would like to start with the assumption that rooted in rhythmics, plastic anime can be defined as a dance choreographic genre within which I distinguish the movement interpretation of a musical piece and the choreography and visualization of music. According to Bogdan Pociej, the interpretation of a musical work is the furthest reaching attempt at depth, an effort to approach the very essence of music, where important roles are played by the play of forces, their projection, tensions, crescendos, discharges, energy, or internal energetics. End quote. Ilkin Spector argues that the goal of plastic anime is to complement music with a special activity of the body that utilizes feelings and emotions. Also, in the opinion of Polish Dalcroze practitioners, the experience of the sound image and the individual way of interpreting music becomes fundamental. Ewa Wojtyła and Barbara Ostrowska both claim that music stimulates the imagination, evokes associations that finds expression in creative statements. Maria Gołaszewska points out that in the reception process, two types of associations may occur, artistic and non-artistic. Artistic associations pertain to earlier phrases or of the perceived composition or other works. In contrast, non-artistic associations relate to the real world, landscapes, people, events, etc. Based on this, I propose a definition stating that the function of movement interpretation of musical works is to capture individual emotional states arising during the experience of music in the context of personal, artistic, and non-artistic experiences. An example of such an approach can be found in the work of Professor Dirk Zeisler from the Staatliche Hochschule für Musikforschungen and in the artistic creation of Marius Muisers, where artists move away from a strict relationship between music and movement. In Polish rhythmic community, the works of Magdalena Owczarek are created in a similar vein. During my presentation, I will focus on Janusz Orlik's Third Symphony. The artist is regarded as one of the leading creators of the Polish contemporary dance scene. The Third Symphony is credited as interpretation and performance by Janusz Orlik, rather than choreography and performance. The title of the work refers to the music of the Henryk Mikołaj Górecki used in the performance. Here we have a synthetic overview of the structure of the Third Symphony, from which I prepared a musical and choreographic analysis. According to Witold Lutosławski, this work is a creative reinterpretation of Górecki's music in a universal dimension. The movement composition, both in the aspect of physically building the poem and mentally organizing the content, runs in harmonious alignment with the symphony of sorrowful sounds. It is worth noting that the choreographer opted for a relationship built on dialogue, contrast, and synthesis, rather than a strict reflection of the score in movement, understood as presenting the essence of music in dance. The meaning of the work is based on an affective impact, the leading themes of the piece: loss, longing, and suffering. We cannot always hear it. I'm sorry. So what's the problem with the sound?
Tak rozpocząłem w 2021 roku, latem. Były dni, kiedy zamykałem się w studio, nie wiedziałem kompletnie co robić i jak podejść do tego tematu. Bałem się, że może ta kompozycja i ta muzyka troszkę mnie przerośnie. Postanowiłem więc nie zmuszać się do ruszania, kiedy moje ciało mówiło nie. Postanowiłem po prostu posiedzieć i posłuchać tej muzyki. I słuchać jej tak często, aż może prędzej czy później, może któregoś dnia, może w którejś konkretnej minucie mojego pobytu na sali coś się wypluje, jakiś pomysł przyjdzie mi do głowy. Zależało mi na tym, żeby trzecia symfonia była spektaklem bez scenografii, żeby była bardzo prostą formą. Tylko ja na scenie, wszystko tak naprawdę jest nierozerwalną i stanowi integralną część spektaklu. Ruch komplementuje muzykę, muzyka komplementuje ruch komplementuje światło, światło komplementuje muzykę i tak dalej, i tak dalej.
The dialogic relationship between music and dance, which I define as the fluidity of boundaries between sound and movement, and the permeation of one art into the other, initiates the choreography. In absolute darkness, the audience can listen to the fragment of the theme of the canon. After a few measures, a silhouette of a dancer emerges at the back of the stage in soft, cold, dim, and pinpoint light. As the canon develops, the dancer moves diagonally from point 6 to 2 according to Agapina Baganova's scheme, remaining turned away from the audience the entire time. The light is gradually intensified and expands across the entire stage. The movement layer is continuously developed and intensified. As Alicia Müller describes, his temporarily silent but continuously focused body is shaken time and again by the music, almost drawing it into its will. The art of sound and light remains in a close relationship. Together with movement, they create a dialogic relationship. Another recognized creative situation is the contrast, which I understand as an intentional opposition of music to movement, or vice versa. This relationship aims to achieve a visual and auditory impression of the arts complementing each other, their creative correspondence. During the first song, Janusz Orlik turns to face the audience and remains still, allowing the audience to listen to the text and using this moment to establish eye contact with them. During the second song, he maintains a constant dynamic, changing the level of movement, while in the third song, he engages in a relationship built on dialogue, contrast, and synthesis. The close relationship between music and movement can be understood as synthesis or hyperbolicity. The attempt to embody the musical score leads us to the conceptual category of choreography of music or visualization of music when utilizing computer technologies. James William Lee noted that the concept of choreography of music derives from Ruth Saint-Denis, who along with Ted Shawn founded Dennis Shawn School of Dancing and Related Arts in Los Angeles, California in 1915. According to Doris Humphrey, who assisted Ruth Saint-Denis, choreography of music is a term that denotes the scientific translation into bodily actions of the rhythmic, melodic, and harmonic structure of a musical work. These actions are devoid of the intention to analyze and interpret any hidden meanings, impressions captured by the dancer. I close the quote. Agnieszka Wildasz confirms that visualization is the type of synchronous orchestra composed of the dancers whose movements correspond to the parts of individual instruments recorded in the score of the work. A contemporary example of such a creative approach can be found in the choreographies of Mark Morris, Julie Killian, and Maurice Béjart. Today, I would like to share with you excerpts from my doctoral work, which aims to create choreography for Witold Lutosławski's Sachar variation and the interpretation of Andrzej Panównik's piano trio. Witold Lutosławski composed Sachar variation in 1975 at the request of Mścisław Rostropovich. The Russian cellist, wishing to honor the 17th birthday of Paul Sachar, the Swiss conductor and patron of the arts, asked 12 composers to write a short piece for solo cello based on a sound cryptogram corresponding to the letters of the celebrant's surname. Sachar variation is based on 2 hexachords. Its theme is found in the sound interpretation of the name Paul Sachar. And please take a look at my proposal to translate the first hexachord into movement. The representations of the Sachar motifs illustrate the principle of double repetition in different registers. As an example, I proposed the first hexachord of Sachar with the second and third repetitions. Based on the sound of hexachord 2. In movement, I employed unspecified gestures and turns, and during pastel sounds, I directed the movement to a low level. piano trio refers to the traditional classical model. It consists on 3 parts: an extended sonata allegro preceded by a slow introduction, a song-like lyrical second part, and a scherzo in the third part. A characteristic of Panofnik's work is the clarity of formal construction and deep emotional expression. Drawing inspiration from the geometric mathematical way of thinking about the composer's music, I reimagined one of my own performances pieces using computer graphics, dividing the body into 3 parts and emphasizing the realization of the parts of the 3 instruments with colors. Additional effects aim to extend the expressive aspect of the choreography. While the colors used give the impression of being enclosed within the body. Seeing the necessity for changing in the working method, in the second part, I divided the choreography into 3 sections. Consists of a collage of the 2 overlapping figures. I raised here concerning the relationship between musical and dance art will open up the possibilities for a joint discussion. I'm very curious about your opinions as distinguished creators and researchers of art. Thank you very much for the invitation and for your attention.
I'm excited. So everything, so many questions.